Hello, critical thinkers. We are live. Thank you for being here tonight. Tonight is going to be, this stream is not going to be that long. Honestly, I'm very disappointed in the verdict today. So I'm just going to get into it. Instead of me telling you what occurred, I'm going to show you what occurred in Oneida County Court today with the 3 criminal defendants in the Robert Brooks murder trial. We have David Kingsley, Matthew Galliher, and Nicholas Kieffer, all facing charges. And day 10 was today. The jury came back. So I'm going to play for you the video of the verdict. It's about 6 minutes long. Before anything, actually, what I will do is tell you what tonight will look like. I'm going to play for you the verdict for all 3 defendants. After that, I'm going to play for you Bill Fitzpatrick, the special prosecutor, talking to the press. After that, we actually have Nicholas Kieffer, one of the defendants, will be speaking along with his attorney. And then afterward, I will play footage of Matthew Galliher's attorney, who spoke and answered questions from the press. So let's go, let's proceed. And here is the footage of the verdict today in court. One thing I will say is that the audio was low. I ended up doing an auto boost to the audio, so it may be very loud. I would recommend, if you're listening, turn down your volume. And as you hear the video, feel free to turn it up as you can, because I did boost up the audio significantly, and I hope it came out well. So do me a favor, if everyone could please hear me, write a 1 in the chat if my audio sounds decent. Type a 1 in the chat. If you haven't already, please like the video. Just get it out the way now, because I'm not going to be doing much commercials. Like the video, share the stream, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. And here is the verdict from Oneida County Court, the Robert Brooks murder trial. Here we go.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now the senior note indicating the reached a verdict. This time the clerk of the court will take the verdict. That first will begin with the verdict as to the people against David Kingsley.
Mr. Foreperson, has the jury agreed upon a verdict in the case of the people of the state against David Kingsley? As to count 1, murder in the 2nd degree, what is the jury's verdict? As to count 2, manslaughter in the 1st degree, what is the jury's verdict? Members of the jury, the foreperson has announced the following verdicts. Count 1, murder in the 2nd degree, guilty. Count 2, manslaughter in the 1st degree, guilty. Members of the jury,
I'm sorry, people. I think my mic was muted. Basically, David Kingsley was found guilty on murder in the 2nd degree and manslaughter. Let's move on with the video.
are those your verdicts?
Yes. If anyone said no just now, please raise your hand. Seeing no hands raised, does either side wish the jury to be polled?
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
All right, we're going to proceed with the matter with respect to the matter of the people against Matthew Galliher.
Ms. Foreperson, has the jury agreed upon a verdict in the case of the people of the state of New York against Matthew Galliher? As to count 1, murder in the 2nd degree, what is the jury's verdict? Not guilty. As to count 2, manslaughter in the 1st degree, what is the jury's verdict? Not guilty. As to count 3, gang assault in the 2nd degree, what is the jury's verdict? Not guilty. Members of the jury, the foreperson has announced the following verdicts. Count 1, murder in the second degree, not guilty. Count 2, manslaughter in the first degree, not guilty. Count 3, gang assault in the second degree, not guilty. Members of the jury, are those your verdicts?
So Matthew Galliher was found not guilty, murder in the second degree, manslaughter first degree, not guilty, and gang assault. Matthew Galliher was found not guilty.
If anyone said no just now, will you please raise your hand? Seeing no hands raised, I'll inquire as to whether either side wishes the jury to be polled.
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
Very good. We will then proceed to taking the verdict as for the people against Nicholas Kieffer.
Ms. Foreperson, has the jury agreed upon a verdict in the case of the people of the state of New York against Nicholas Kieffer? As to count 1, murder in the second degree, what is the jury's verdict? As to count 2, manslaughter in the first degree, what is the jury's verdict? As to count 3, gang assault in the second degree, what is the jury's verdict? As to count 4, offering a false instrument for filing in the first degree, what is the jury's verdict? Members of the jury, the foreperson has announced the following verdicts. Count 1, murder in the second degree, not guilty. Count 2, manslaughter in the first degree, not guilty. Count 3, gang assault in the second degree, not guilty. Count 4, offering a false instrument for filing in the first degree, not guilty. Members of the jury, are those your verdicts?
So Nicholas Kieffer, murder second degree, not guilty. Manslaughter first degree, not guilty. Gang assault, not guilty. Falsifying records, not guilty. I'm really shocked that Kieffer and Gallagher were found not guilty on all of their charges. I figured at least one or two of their charges they would have been found not guilty of, but that did not happen today.
If anyone said no, will you please raise your hand? Seeing no hands raised, as either side wishes to report, Fitzpatrick. So on,
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes your jury service on behalf of this community. Ably served on the heads sincerely. This has been a difficult case for everyone involved. It is evident you put an awful lot of work into it. You have our gratitude. All the rules you've been operating under up to this point of your life. If you wanted to, you could talk to people about the case now for services committee, but they would also absolutely understand you do not have to do so. You're welcome to go back to their lives. And I think they should do so with the thanks of this court. You are discharged.
Please be seated.
All right, so in the matter of people against Kingsley, the jury having returned verdicts of guilty, Kingsley failed to provide repeat revoked, the matter will be scheduled for sentencing now on December 16th at 9:30 a.m. Between now and then, Kingsley probation will be up to jail state review to prepare your pre-sentence investigation. I will rely on that in part in determining the appropriate sentence in your case, so we make sure you are cooperative with it. With respect to the remaining defendants, then acquitted, hereby discharged and free to go. So anything from either side?
Sure.
Anything else? Thank you.
Okay, that's the end of the verdicts that came in today. Again, this is absolutely disgusting. I'm disgusted by what occurred. Just to recap, David Kingsley was found guilty, murder in the second degree, manslaughter first degree, both guilty counts. Nicholas Kieffer was found not guilty on all 4 counts, murder second degree, manslaughter in the first, gang assault not guilty, falsifying records. Now remember, Nicholas Kieffer was the one, according to Tromley's testimony, who said to put Robert Brooks down on the floor so he can mace him. Matthew Galliher, not guilty on those 3 charges that he had: murder in the second degree, manslaughter in the first, and gang assault. So tell me how you guys feel about this. I mean, I don't believe anyone watching is fine with this verdict, with 1 out of 3 defendants being found guilty, and two of them walking away scot-free. So very disappointing, very disheartening. I can't even imagine what the Brooks family is going through at this moment. But there is a glimmer of hope there. Bill Fitzpatrick is going to make reference to potential federal prosecution. So I'm going to pull up the video now of Bill Fitzpatrick speaking to the press. And before I do that, I do want to give thanks very quickly to those who show love and support to me. Thank you, BJ Webbs, for the super chat. Really, really appreciate it. BJ Webb says, thank you for the updates, Northern New York. BJ, thank you for the support. Greatly appreciated. Thank you tremendously. Okay, so let's move forward, and I'm going to pull up a video with multiple interviews here. This is clip number 2. This contains interviews from Bill Fitzpatrick, Nicholas Kieffer and his attorney, and the attorney of Matthew Galliher.
I respect the jury's verdict. Obviously, the 2 gentlemen that were acquitted, I felt differently, but I respect the jury's verdict. And now we'll see what the United States Attorney does with them.
You described the 3 of them as defendants as part of a violent gang, a welcoming committee, and now to see 2 of them acquitted, one of them, David Kingsley, who was convicted on both of those counts.
Right.
Do you feel some level of justice has been served here?
We went into this case with the idea immediately that 4 people had to be held accountable for Robert's death. All 4 of them will now be serving lengthy prison sentences. That's Mr. Farina, Mr. Kingsley, Mr. Mansalone, and Mr. Wall. When we looked at the tape for the first time, those were the individuals. We offered the 2 gentlemen that were acquitted lesser charges. They felt that they were not going to plead to anything. And at this point, they've been successful.
Where do you think your prosecution's case wasn't successful on those 2 defendants?
I have 0 regrets about the prosecution's case. I had an incredible team. State police were fantastic in investigating the case. There's a single thing I could have presented to that jury to make them to make it more clear about the involvement of the 2 defendants. They disagreed, and that's life.
You're looking at 7 out of 10 guilty pleas. I mean, taking a step back, is that satisfying to you?
What I'm most gratified about is the intensity that my team put into the case, while, I might say, running a completely separate office west of here. I'm very proud of them, very proud of the state police and the job that they did. But you had two very good lawyers, actually 4 very good lawyers that represented these 2 gentlemen, and they worked hard, they worked fairly, they worked ethically, and the jury spoke, and I have 0 criticism of the jury's verdict.
Will you appeal?
I would love to, but since 1783, we have been unable to appeal a acquittal. But it's not the end for Mr. Gallagher and Mr. Anzalone, and I don't mean to throw gas on the fire, but the United States Attorney for the Western District is investigating this case, and they will proceed.
Okay, people, so that's the little glimmer of hope. The United States District Attorney, Western District, could be pursuing charges. So let's see what happens with that.
What tone does this set for the mid-state COs?
I'm sorry?
What tone does this set now for the mid-state COs?
For the which COs? The
Mid-state.
The Nantwit.
you're talking about Messiah Nantwit? I don't think it has any effect on that. That's a separate case. Some people may be emboldened by the two acquittals. Some people may feel that with the murder verdict against Mr. Kingsley, they might want to reconsider their position, but that's up to them.
You have an amazing track record of guilty convictions. What does this do for your body of work?
I hope people look at the amount of effort I put into the case and appreciate it, and remind people that, in addition to Mr. Kingsley, we have received substantial pleas on a multiple number of other people. When this case started, I knew a lot of people thought that this would be resolved by a bunch of resignations and official misconducts and probations. It didn't turn out that way.
Last question for me. What should the prison system take away from what you've learned, what you've discovered?
The governor has had a number of conversations with me. I don't purport to be an expert on penal law, running a penal system, but there's some things here that are obvious that need to be changed, and she's indicated a willingness, at least to me, to address those, and I think she will.
Do you have one or two?
Well, there's got to be, in my judgment, there needs to be a specialized bureau within the Attorney General's office that deals with all assaults in prison, not just on inmates, but on corrections officers as well.
Thank you, Bill.
Do you think any of the language in these laws, these charges should change?
There needs to be a specific statute that deals with duty of care regarding a corrections officer. I thought I made it clear in this case that was such an
I'm very appreciative.
Okay, so that was Bill Fitzpatrick. Now we're going to, by the way, how do you feel about what Bill Fitzpatrick said in terms of his questions, how he felt about the verdicts? He said he respected the jury's decision. He praised the other defense attorneys. I don't know how I feel about that. Either way, how do you feel about what Fitzpatrick said? Now let's jump to Nicholas Kieffer, who's going to speak himself and answer questions from the press. Let's see what Nicholas Kieffer has to say. I may interrupt, I may pause it, I'm not sure, but let's listen.
Of how the jury was and how they actually took their time to do their job and everything. But I do want to show my remorse for the family. What happened to them was not something that a family should go through. I just am very appreciative of what the jury did and how they were able to deliberate and find me not guilty.
You've had your family here all along. What's that support been like?
That's the most amazing support. Just because they're in the courtroom doesn't mean they're not supporting me. I've got hundreds of people supporting me, and I'm so appreciative of them, and I had to keep my faith this whole time.
What did it feel like being in there as the verdict was being read out?
Well, as you can see, it was a very emotional part of my life, and I just want to get past it now.
What's next for you?
Going home and hug my family. That's the first thing I'm going to do.
Is this what you were expecting as an outcome?
There was no expectation out of this. It was just up to them, and I can't see what's in their minds.
How have you gotten through this?
Support my family, that's it. Family, friends, and everything else.
Mr. Fitzpatrick mentioned the possibility of federal jeopardy to the Western District. Is this something that they've reached out to either of you about?
I have reached out on behalf of Mr. Kieffer with respect to the potential federal prosecution. I hope that they have paid attention to what this jury had decided. I think the jury spent, a solid 2.5–3 days deliberating on this matter, and they reached the proper conclusion. Mr. Kieffer has maintained his innocence right from day one, and his story has not changed at all. When I first met with Mr. Kieffer day one, the first thing he said to me is how he feels so terrible for the Brooks family. This is a tragedy. However, Mr. Kieffer did not participate in Mr. Brooks's death.
You got an acquittal without calling a single witness. The defense all the way through not calling a single witness. How does that? What do you want us to ascertain from that?
Well, we've maintained all along that the evidence that the special prosecutor had, his whole office was fantastic. They disclosed every ounce of evidence they had. We have been able to scrutinize that evidence very, very closely. And when we reviewed the videos when they were first released to the public, it clearly showed that Mr. Kieffer was not an active participant in this. There was certainly some non-compliance by the late Mr. Brooks. My client acted appropriately under policy and procedure. And then, as we said in our opening and our closing, after that minimum application of pepper spray, there was not one finger laid on Mr. Brooks again. We did enter in and out of that treatment room for seconds, merely seconds, but he did not touch Mr. Brooks at all. He never would have touched me. He wouldn't touch any inmate inappropriately. He's never done that. Everybody has heard the testimony loud and clear of the sergeant, Glenn Trombley, who said in the 10 years that he has worked with Mr. Kieffer, he has never seen Mr. Kieffer get angry. And if there was any application of pepper spray used, there had to be a good reason for it. And I think the jury found that out.
Do you feel judged at all by the public? Has your life been?
Yes, my life was turned upside down from this, 100%.
Members of the public have spoken to you in the store, in life?
Honestly, not really. I've just, I don't know how to answer that, I'm going to be honest.
Do you have any comment on your peer's verdict of guilty for Mr. Kieffer?
No comment.
No, do I. No comment on Mr. Kingsley. I do think that it's a contradictory verdict, that given the states of mind that you need for both those charges, but that would be for his attorneys to evaluate.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Do you think the video helped or hurt your case in this situation?
From day one, I've always maintained the position, and as my client, that the videos actually vindicate my client. We are sorry we didn't have the videos from the time Mr. Brooks first arrived at the Marcy Correction facility, because then the whole story would have been on video. But the portions of the video that we did receive certainly vindicated my client, and we felt that was a big part of our defense, which is why we went through methodically with the jury, playing all the different segments and sections. Thank you.
What does this case mean for the Corrections Department? The indictment, it alleged a gang conspiracy and a welcoming committee. What does this verdict say about the job of the Corrections Department?
I can't speak for corrections anymore, so.
That is non-existent. That is non-existent in the Marcy Correctional facility. There is no welcoming committee. As you've heard through the testimony, the COs, they work, so the shifts are so different. It's not a Monday.
So now all of a sudden, the COs are the victims. They work, countless hours. The environment is horrible. So what you'll start to hear now, and this attorney begins with it, and then Matthew Galliher's attorney just is the absolute worst. The COs are the victim here.
Through Friday 9-to-5 job. They'll be working 18 hours on a Monday, 18 hours on a Wednesday. They won't work Thursday. They're working 8 hours on a Friday. They're always working with different people. There is no gang mentality. I say that with the utmost respect, because the special prosecutor obviously laid out a fantastic case. We've been sitting on pins and needles.
Sergeant Trombley seemed to trash some of the system, and I just wonder, from your firsthand knowledge, is there anything you'd change about the system as someone that worked there?
Unfortunately, I don't think my client is in a position where he can change it. I think that's going to start from the top on the way down. I think
advocacy from the bottom can change things.
It's possible. You're right, and I don't mean to discount that, but I think the powers to be, the higher-ranking politicians, starting from the governor on the way down, have to do a very serious study within the Department of Corrections, and that's where the change is going to have to start, I believe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
The brink of bankruptcy.
Okay. So now is Matthew Galliher's attorney, who I believe said the worst things that you can hear. So I'm going to play his comments. I'm going to stay on because most likely I am going to chime in.
Docs owes him an apology for putting him in this situation.
for failing to train, supervise, and provide leadership in that organization.
So Matthew Gallagher's attorney says Docs owes him an apology for not training him, for not giving him resources. The audacity of this attorney to say this, that his client is the one that needs to receive an apology.
He wouldn't be here without that.
How's he doing with this verdict?
Heading straight home to his family. That's all he cares about.
How has he gotten through this? It's been a tough time, I imagine.
He sucked it up. That's what he did. And he said, I'm going to go through it. In my heart, I know he didn't do anything wrong, and I'll accept whatever verdict comes from the jury.
You did this, you got this acquittal with not calling a single witness. Do you have any comment on just your strategy there and what it's led to?
The case should never have been brought. The video didn't support the charges against him. The witnesses didn't support the charges against him. He should never have been charged with any offenses whatsoever.
Matthew Galliher witnessed a brutal beating and participated in this beating by shackling Robert Brooks' legs. Just let that sink in for a second. Matthew Galliher did not do anything wrong.
Mr. Kieffer said, his lawyer said that the video actually, he believes, vindicated his client. Do you believe the same?
Absolutely. Without the video and the testimony of Trombley and the other Kessler, he could have been convicted.
None of the officers, until their guilty pleas, or we heard from Nicholas Kieffer, have expressed sorrow for the victim. I just wonder what your team would say about Robert Brooks' death.
Robert Brooks' death was caused by officers who lost it. They were undertrained, poorly supervised, and they work in an environment that's...
Take a look at how he is justifying this. They were undertrained, poorly supervised, and they work in an environment that's horrible.
Terrible. No excuse for what they did, and we have complete sympathy for Mr. Brooks. I'm still...
He says there's no excuse for what they did, that he just listed a bunch of excuses. Oh, I'm sorry. And all of my... Let me bring it back.
Against him. The witnesses didn't support the charges against him. He should never have been charged with any offenses whatsoever.
Mr. Kieffer said, his lawyer said that the video actually, he believes, vindicated his client. Do you believe the same?
Absolutely. Without the video and the testimony of Trombley and the other Kessler, he could have been convicted.
None of the officers, until their guilty pleas, or we heard from Nicholas Kieffer, have expressed sorrow for the victim. I just wonder what your team would say about Robert Brooks' death.
Robert Brooks' death was caused by officers who lost it. They were undertrained, poorly supervised, and they work in an environment that's terrible. No excuse for what they did, and we have complete sympathy for Mr. Brooks. I'm a civil rights lawyer. That's what I do. I sue docs, and I took this case because of when I saw the video and when I talked to Matt Galliher.
You said the prosecution charged them all and cited that the jury cleared them out. Do you feel like these verdicts reflect that?
I don't know. All I can say is with Matt Galliher, he should never have been charged. They should have used their discretion not to charge him.
Does he feel convicted by the public, so to speak? Is the opinions about, is his reputation ruined? Has he suffered from comments from the public these many months?
I'll repeat, he's a man of integrity. He's a man of faith. He knew he didn't do anything wrong, and he was ready to face a jury. He didn't want to, shouldn't have had to, but he was ready to face it.
Say the governor calls you tomorrow looking for an opinion on what docs should change. What are your diagnoses?
I got 2 pages. 2 pages on how they should change, from both the civil rights perspective and from representing Matthew Galliher.
Are you concerned about action by the Western District of New York and their federal investigation?
We're always concerned about other jurisdictions. We're not going to accept any plea from them. If they reach out to us, if they want to charge them, we'll deal with it. I don't think they should. I'm hopeful that they learn from the sweeping verdict in Matt's favor not to bring any type of criminal charges against Matt.
Thank you.
So he arrogantly says, don't even think about bringing charges against Matthew Galliher based on what occurred here in court today. Do you agree with him? Do you think the feds should not be going after Matthew Galliher and Nicholas Kieffer?
Hang on. Sorry.
Okay. That's the end of those interviews. Again, very, very disappointing. Very disappointing. I do want to give people an opportunity to come on and chit chat with me. I'll post the link one more time, and if somebody wants to come on, feel free to really let me know what your opinion is. I think I'm more concerned with your opinion than giving mine. To be honest with you, I'm a little bit numb from the verdict, from the outcome. If anybody wants to come on, I'll give it about another 30 seconds. If not, I'm going to sign off for the night. So, a lot of you are very opinionated. I'm going through the comments now. We have this comment from Rodney Brown. That lawyer need to shut the hell up playing his client as a victim. And that's one thing you'll see that was a theme of the trial. These defense attorneys playing up their clients as victims, as following orders, pointing the finger, blaming everyone else except for themselves. And there was one thing that Fitzpatrick said. He said, "You don't need to have training to be a human being. You do not." So I do believe that holds true here. What occurred, no special training is needed to know don't effing kill people. So we have Harbor View Kings back in the studio. I'm going to bring you up, Harbor. Give me 1 second. I'm going to add you on. How's it going?
Okay.
So
I am not surprised. The location was a problem, first of all.
okay.
If it was in the city, it would have been different. Second of all, you win and lose cases at jury selection. I've
Good
always felt
point.
that way. You have to pick the proper jury to hear the case. I know it's a very insulated community. A lot of corrections officers, they know each other, they have friends and all of that stuff. And I think that was an influence. That influenced the jury. I wanted to know what the diversity was on the jury. Were there blacks? Were there Hispanics? This makes a difference.
Yeah. So from what the Freelance News reported, J.B. Nicholas, he reported there were two African Americans initially who were on, but they got removed during the jury selection
Of course.
process.
hmm
So do you think it's even possible to get a fair jury in Oneida County?
I think, yes, I do feel that way. This case, I feel that way. But it has to be a diverse jury. It cannot be all Caucasians on the jury when you have a black population up there. It has to be reflective of the community. You know, when I saw it when going to day 2, I knew there was going to be a problem
Yeah.
because this is an open and shut case. And I'm not even too confident that the feds are going to come in and pick that case up. It would be lovely, but I'm not confident. And what's even more upsetting is that now they've been vindicated, they can get their jobs back.
They can. They can get their jobs back.
And that needs to be
Good point.
addressed. Okay? I know they have the bargaining, their contract, that needs to be addressed. And Kathy Hochul, she has a lot to account for. I I never had a problem with her until now.
Interesting.
Okay? And my vote is going to speak the way I feel. Because this is her problem. This
Yeah.
is her baby. And there needs to be some drastic changes in the Department of Corrections. How many other men have been murdered and it was covered up? I would like to know if there are going to
Yeah.
be civil suits against these guys.
Yeah, they are. They are. The Brooks family, they've launched two civil suits, one federal and one state. That's my understanding. And actually, Robert Brooks, the Brooks family attorneys were in the courtroom during the proceedings. So
It's really it's a sad situation. It really
yeah,
is. And I feel very bad for the Brooks family. It must be very heartbreaking.
yeah.
Very.
If you were to see the Brooks family, what would you say to them yourself, directly to them?
I would say you got to look at the big picture. They got quite a few of them to
Yeah.
take the plea deals. Okay? 2 so far got away, but we don't know if they really got away because the feds may come and tap them on the shoulder. That's a possibility. If that doesn't happen, the other possibility is to hold them accountable civilly, personally sue them. If they have a house, make that be your house. You understand what I'm saying? There has to
Yeah.
be penalties. I mean, this gentleman lost his life for what? At the root of the issue, it's racism. They have a stigma against people of color that are incarcerated.
Mm.
They lack exposure up there because the community is not diverse enough like it is in the city.
Mm.
If they had to live down here in the city, I have a feeling they would not be able to verbally do those, and I think their perception would be different also.
Yeah.
It's a group of them up there. They're all the same. They all feel the same. They're probably Trumpers. You understand what I'm saying? That viewpoint. They lost it at the jury selection. And I thought Fitzpatrick did a good job. I was surprised.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was going to perform the way he performed. But I don't think he has anything to be ashamed of. It's the juror. And to find, what's his name, not guilty of filing a false instrument.
Kieffer.
That
Yeah.
that is a document you don't. I'm wondering about if they really understood what that meant.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have the document, they can prove it. You understand what I'm saying? At least that should have been a guilty.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really puzzled how they did not find Kieffer guilty for falsifying that report. It does not make any sense
No sense. I don't think
whatsoever.
they
No.
understood. I think there was a lack of knowledge and probably a lack of leadership on that jury.
Mm.
Because leadership on a jury is important. I mean, thank God, I've never sat on a jury, but I've had people who have sat on juries. I know how pressure can be placed on individuals to change.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But it's reflective of the community. That spoke volumes.
So you believe if the trial occurred in New York City,
Oh
it
God,
would be a
yes.
different outcome?
Bring that trial here to Brooklyn. They're all going to do 25 to life.
Yeah.
We're not having it here. Put it in the Bronx. They are not having it there. Even Manhattan, liberal Manhattan, they are not having it there because we are more diverse. We are more accepting of other people, other races, other socioeconomic, the demographics. These people up
Mm.
there, these are sheltered, narrow-minded people. They lack exposure. And it's just really sad. And I've always been against the government giving communities the gift of a prison as economic development.
Mm.
I think it's piss poor to do it that way because they don't have any jobs. We're gonna give you a prison.
Yeah.
Give them a cart, an assembly line for cars. Why you? I mean, come on, and it's our hard-earned tax money that helped kill that man.
Yeah.
We paid them, you know? This giving communities, depressed communities, prison as if it's a gift. We're bringing them jobs. Realistically, who really wants to be a correction officer? It's a hard job.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous job. Another thing, the qualifications are low. They need to have college degrees. Maybe that would help with their thinking. Like I said, I leave this at the doorstep of Kathy Hochul. That's where I leave it. That's her baby.
Yeah.
I
Well, the
hold her
thing that we
fully
know,
responsible. I hold
you
her
know, we
fully
know
responsible
Kathy
for
Hochul
this.
has been aware. The New York State Attorney General Letitia James has been aware of the atrocities, the abuses in New York State correctional facilities. Letitia James has been defending dozens and dozens of correction officers who have brutalized incarcerated individuals. But this has been going on before Hochul, before Letitia James. This has been occurring for decades. Why? Okay, I will ask you one last question. Okay, why don't we have major mainstream media coverage, and why aren't like our biggest celebrities like advocating for this? Like how come there's no attention? We have on camera an African American man being murdered. How come there's very little outrage?
Legacy media is dying. Okay? You guys are on the up, you're on the come up. Okay? Legacy media has restrictions and the powers that be dictate what they cover. You have more freedom. You have much more freedom than legacy media. In a few years, people won't even be watching them. I know I don't. I watch YouTube. That's where I get my news from. Okay? And I think it's news unbiased, untainted. Okay? I think some of the problem was it was upstate New York. We're downstate. They're covering crime down here. They covered it a little bit, but not the way it should have been covered. Maybe if we had more of a civil rights, a lot of contentious marches up there with Al Sharpton, maybe they would have given a little bit more coverage. But even with the Diddy trial, they didn't cover it extensively down here. I mean, they did. I mean, they'll give you a little wrap up 10, 5, 15 minutes about what happened today, but nothing like what you guys do. That media is dying. It's dying.
Good point.
You guys are the new media. That's what they refer to you as, new media.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm just thankful that you followed up on it because I was very interested in it. I didn't have my hopes up because of the location of where it happened. Okay? I did not, no, that's the old boys club. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's just the way it is. It's a sad situation. Very sad.
Yeah. Well, Harbor View Kings, I want to thank you for coming on
Welcome.
and voicing your opinion. I appreciate it.
No problem. You take
And
care. Thanks again.
I will. Take care.
All right. All right then. Bye.
All right. Good night. Okay, that was Harbor View Kings. What do you think about what she had to say? I see many of you commenting while she was speaking. So with that being said, we have 110 people in the chat. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. I greatly appreciate it. We have, for those of you who don't know, we have Michael Fisher. Michael Fisher's trial is going to be in January. And just to recap, we have 7 defendants who were either convicted or pled guilty. David Kingsley found guilty on murder, second degree, and manslaughter. He's number 7. We had 6 plea deals prior to this. And let's not forget, we have Tromley, who took a plea deal. He's number 8, and we have Kessler, who also took a plea deal as well. One thing I want to do before I head out is give thanks to our supporters. I want to give thanks to another supporter that just popped up, Emergency Education Point, with the super chat. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it, Emergency Education Point. Thank you tremendously. I also want to thank BJ Webbs for the $2 super chat. Thank you tremendously for the support, BJ Webbs and Emergency Education Point. So let's also not forget, we have the Messiah Nantry trial. I will be making a video about a plea deal that went into effect last week from Francis Chandler. Okay, I will be covering that. I will be covering the Messiah Nantry trial. So as I say in all of my videos, my goal is to go deeper than what the mainstream media is telling and sharing with you. Take care, God bless, and I will see you next time.